tuning in to Curve Uncensored. I am your host, Carolyn, and I appreciate everyone tuning in tonight. We're going to have a great show. Look, Instagram, you cannot see my guests tonight. You will see them next time. I want to kind of bring you all up to abreast what's going on and what we're going to be talking about. Tonight's show, we are talking about how much of the truth can you really handle in a relationship? At Curve Uncensored, this right now is our relationship series. So we're talking about all different facets of relationships. And tonight I have some really great guests on the show. All of them have lived and they have various things they can bring to the table. And we're definitely looking forward to bringing you a good conversation. So let's go ahead and get started. First of all, I want to introduce my best friend, Brenda. She's with me almost every time I go live on Sunday. Say hello, Brenda.
Hello, how's everyone?
I also have Ben. He is an author, musician, and an entrepreneur. Say hello, Ben.
Hello, hello.
I have Dexter, who's a dear friend of mine, and he has a whole lot of experience to bring to the table, as well as Clarence, he's a relative of Dexter. I'm getting to know him tonight as well, and hopefully he'll be able to bring a lot of good information to the table as well. And they're from where? How do I say it? New Orleans? Did I say it wrong?
Something like that.
Something like
Call
that.
it New
That's
Orleans.
New Orleans. That's with my Florida accent on it, right? But anyway, I would like
Yeah.
to I would like to thank everyone for tuning in. But let's go ahead and get to it. Okay, I'm sure all of us have, of course, been in relationships or married and different things of that nature. And we understand in relationships there are a whole lot of different situations that come up. We agree sometimes, we don't agree sometimes. But most times we think that if we're honest with that person that we're in a relationship with, that we can pretty much get through anything, right? Is that what we agree on?
I would say.
Okay. But we also
Pretty
know,
much.
but we also know that men and women, we are different. I think, of course, women are more emotional, I would say, and we kind of deal with things from a different aspect. And how we deal with things and process things are different. And, men are a little more, I would say, surface when it comes to different things. They deal with things a little more mental and things of that nature. So the way that we deal with things are different. So I want to kind of get into the deep, aspect of things. What do you all think about being honest in a relationship? We know most people want honesty. Dexter, do you think that too much honesty can be detrimental to a relationship?
I always say it depends on what a relationship is. If you're dating,
Mm-hmm.
you have to feel a person out. So you can be honest, but you don't deliver everything.
Okay, that's good. We'll stop right there right now. What about you, Clarence? What do you think about that?
Well, uh, the dating side, I agree with Dexter on that, but on the marriage side, it goes both. It goes both ways. It goes both ways.
Okay,
And
all right, Ben. What do you think about that? You're a single man, right? Or you're not married at this point.
Uh, yeah.
So
Um, well, it depends on the type of relationship that you want. If you want a growing and a healthy relationship, there has to be some honesty. I know that we can definitely withhold some information,
mm-hmm.
but to have a healthy and and growing relationship where there is a particular type of understanding, there has to be some honesty there. Uh, and then if you're gonna be there are levels to this honesty because sometimes you could be uh, withholding information to be protective of some things, but if you want honesty, people have to prepare themselves for honesty.
I agree.
They
I
say
agree with
that
that.
they want an honest person, but are they willing to be with an honest person?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yep.
All right, and Brenda, let's hear it from you.
Well, it also depends on what you're looking for when you set out to date.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Are you willing to put yourself into it or throw yourself into the relationship, or are you just looking at that person wanting to be a friend, or I could be interested in this person? On a marriage standpoint, yes, I think you should be honest, and get it all out the way, and just be honest enough to ask that person, is this all I need to know about you, or can we grow together? So, if a situation come up, we can, talk and communicate about it, or work through the journey.
Right. Now, from what I'm gathering, do you all think it just depends on the situation, of course? Because, I mean, if we're just talking general conversation, of course it's easy to be honest. But if you're talking about things that are a little more detailed, I think, and more personable, that's a whole nother situation. What do you think about that?
Carolyn, I would say absolutely, because if you're just talking about the weather, you talk about the weather. But when you start talking about uh, personal things, your job, your kids, what happened in your other marriage, what
Oh,
happened to your other relationship,
right.
then that's when you start, peeling off
The
the
layers, huh?
onion peel per se, right? And you start discussing it in truth and
I,
honesty.
right. And then that's when things get real, as they say.
That is correct.
Um, Ben, from a single, because I know Dexter, you're married, Brenda, you're married. Um, Clarence, I don't know about you. I'm just meeting you. Are you married? Are you single?
Yes,
You're
married.
you're married. Okay, and
Hmm.
Ben, I understand that. I know you're single, so you'll be able to give us information from a single person's aspect. Do you think when in the dating aspect that kind of makes things more difficult? If you say, I want to go into this relationship, I've had a whole lot of relationships, and things just didn't go well. This time I'm gonna go into it. I'm gonna lay all the cards on the table, and so this person will respect me for that. Have you found that to be difficult, or have you tried that?
I tried that, and there are layers because it's already difficult for totally different people to be in a oneness of a relationship because you have two different mindsets, two different upbringings, two different people who are in two different houses that were
Right.
raised up by parents who were two different people,
Right.
who were raised up by parents that were two different people as well. So psychologically, this trickles down for our attempts to be in some type of oneness. And right now, nothing surprises me now. You know
Oh
what I
yeah.
mean?
I
Every. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, I say yeah. I bet it's difficult enough, and then when you try to go in from that aspect, it even complicates things. I'm sure.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, because everybody on this planet is dealing with something they may not be honest about or may be in denial of.
Right.
And if they are honest and
That's
aware
right.
about who they are, which is nothing but a lifelong journey of discovering themselves, but the truth shall set you free. And in order to experience the freedom of self at its best and purest potency, one must address all forms of deception. Sometimes it's self-deception that
Right.
the person ain't lying to them. Is sometimes they're lying to themselves.
That's a good
So
point. That's a really
so
good
In
point.
denial, just
yeah,
in denial.
That's a good
yeah.
Yeah.
point. What do you say about that, Clarence? If in a situation where you're married and there are certain things in your relationship that you've been with this person for a while, most times, when you become a particular age, and you feel like you can talk about almost anything, right? Do you
Yeah,
see?
just about almost anything. I mean, it's some things, I can say that she don't need to know, but there aren't any things that are detrimental to our relationship that
Oh,
she don't need to know.
okay, let me
And
ask you. Let me stop you for a quick second. When you're in a relationship with someone and you say there are certain things that they don't need to know, what things are you considering under that umbrella of not needing to know? Let me hear from
How
you and
about you,
Dexter on this one.
how about your password to your phone?
Yeah, yeah. How about
I'm
that?
log.
Now,
I'm
I'm
logging
not
up.
throwing that out there
I'm
because I
Well,
logging
give
up.
I'm
mine.
say
I
it
don't
like this.
care, but I'm just saying that for some
I don't have a
people,
password to my
having
phone.
that password,
The
that's a no-no.
password to the phone.
Hmm.
I think
I'm logging off, Dexter.
if you don't have anything to hide, what's wrong with the password being known?
Absolutely.
No.
What you think,
Well,
Clarence?
am I muted or you hear me?
I hear you.
Okay. All right. I don't have a password to my phone. I don't turn my phone upside down or hide it. It stays on 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a lot of female friends and a lot of male friends
Mm-hmm.
of just about every nationality there is. Be it, that's just the guy I am.
Okay.
And now, as far as what they don't need to know,
Yeah.
one of the things is how much money I got in this account and that account.
Oh, what?
Mm,
Because you only need to
mm.
know what I throw at you, and you live good, and that's good enough.
Okay, Dexter, I hear
I'm
you
telling you like
chuckling
it
over
is.
there. With you
Yeah.
back your cuz up,
Yeah.
back your cuz up on
But
that one, I
Dexter,
guess.
Dexter knows
I want to
This
Well,
is a good conversation.
hey,
let me hear it.
well,
Let me hear you, Dexter, from you.
from a different perspective, which I can definitely appreciate what CJ is saying,
Mm-hmm.
but the honesty part that you came out with in the first place is that this is something that you have to put on the table. Now, I don't have to have access to certain accounts,
Mm-hmm.
but when I say access, meaning that I can go and take out
yeah,
whatever I want to. We
Mm-hmm.
have about 4 or 5 different accounts. We have an operating account that we pay bills from. We
Mm-hmm.
have savings and some other stuff. I
Mm-hmm.
know where
thank you.
all the dollars are, but certain things it's like going in a woman's pocketbook or going into their drawers. It's just certain things that you don't do, but
Mm-hmm.
I do know of them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. What do you think about that being going into a relationship or those things that you discuss up front?
Well, you don't want surprises, you know. And if it can, when you get to a point where there is a disagreement, you can definitely say, well, I definitely mentioned this. You know what I mean? It's with so much stuff that's going on that people seem to conceal,
Hmm.
even though they may not say it's a lie, but the fact that they have concealed it and not tell it to you, it's still deception. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying?
I agree.
So it further enforces a lie of deception, even though it's unspoken.
Mm-hmm.
So if we all put it out on the table, just things that will help us grow. You know what I mean? You said something earlier about how men and women think, and I believe it's our definition of truth. There's four definitions of truth.
Mm-hmm.
There's objective truth, there's subjective truth, normative and complex.
Mm-hmm.
But men and women have this battle with objective truth and subjective truth.
Mm-hmm.
Objective truth, which a lot of men operate in, they
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
objective truth is that which can be proven. It's
Mm-hmm.
just a truth,
Mm-hmm.
It's a fact.
independent of myself, my own individual subjectivity. Uh, when truth conditions are met without bias,
Mm-hmm.
that's what a lot of men operate in. But subjective truth is one's own feelings.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I
And
know exactly what you're speaking of.
that's the battle that we have when it comes to certain truths, because truth according to subjectivity it could be only your perspective instead of the actual facts of reality.
Then
But
it's not true.
and it's not true. I was gonna say then it's
Yes,
not true because
yes,
that's the easy way to wiggle out of certain things. It's
That is
yes.
correct.
subjectively based on what I'm thinking and this is how
Uh-huh.
I feel. But when you're in a relationship, it's not I, it's we, right?
Yes, yes,
It's we.
So
exactly.
It's
that's
us
yeah,
together.
that's the problem. Exactly,
Exactly.
Brenda. So I think that's where the problem come in. And speaking about going back to what Clarence was saying, he's open. I'm sure your wife probably have know about all your friends and she knows the type of personality you have,
Yes,
correct? Right. So
yes,
she's okay with that. So you would have to, of course, connect with someone that's okay with that type of openness, because and they
True.
have to be secure. Because a lot of times, if a man has a whole bunch of female friends, then that can make a woman insecure. Don't
Well,
you think?
that's true. And
Or it could contribute.
someday,
It contributes. I'm sorry,
I
contributes to
agree
her.
with that. Yes.
Yeah.
yeah. And then, some days it's a question out of the wild blue yonder come out. Well, what happened with so and so?
Mm-hmm.
When the last time you seen so and so? Well, I said, I haven't seen him, haven't heard from, or I have.
Mm-hmm.
And when a question like that pops up, that a light bulb goes off in my head, tell me, okay, she's kind of
Why
inquisitive.
that particular person? There
Right.
you
Yeah,
go.
Dexter,
why?
do you think that's
Hmm.
cool? You think it's good for a husband? We're talking about a husband right now, or a wife, really, to have friends that the other spouse or girlfriend, if you're in a relationship like Ben, he may have a girlfriend. You think it's cool to have friends outside of the relationship that the other spouse, significant other, doesn't know about?
Well, even before you got married, you're going to find out who your spouse or friends are, who her close friends are, who she's still staying connected to.
Mm-hmm.
And if she does, that's a friend. I have no problems with it.
So don't you? But do you believe certain friends have to be cut off, or is it okay? Because most times, Ben, I don't know if you agree. Here go this subjective truth. You know.
Okay, wait. Let me back up just a second.
Okay,
Let me
back
say
up.
this,
Yeah,
Cal.
back up.
Jump on
Let me say this.
Okay.
If it's a friend
Uh
that
huh.
someone has been intimate with,
Mm-hmm.
then I say no. But if
Okay.
it's a friend and that's it, there should be no problems.
Okay, but this is where the honesty thing comes in. You expect her to tell you those things that, you may have been intimate with this person or that person. Would you tell that your spouse, everyone that you've been intimate with, if if there's a friendship now or was right before they were, the relationship began?
Absolutely, absolutely not. From my perspective, Carolyn,
Is
is
that a
that
too much information that might hurt situation there?
no, if I'm the one, my spouse and I should determine who our friends are.
I
And if
agree.
I have someone that I was intimate with, it should be up to me to make sure that that person is not part of my friendship anymore since
Mm-hmm.
I'm married. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel to believe that she should do the same thing too.
Certain people don't want to let go easy. Some people go easy, some don't. So, you have
Shouldn't be married.
those little special nuggets that be kind of like, hanging around sometimes. What you laughing about? What you laughing at, Ben? you
well,
you know about those little nuggets that like to hang
well,
around.
yeah. It reminds me of a personal situation because I'm an author, I'm an entertainer, I'm a
Yes.
producer, I'm an
Mm-hmm.
actor. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? So there are different types of people that come to me. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yes.
And and as an entertainer, I entertain a conversation just in the settings of formality and in a public setting, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't let it go too far.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to say this because can we put personal
Yeah.
stuff out
Go
here?
ahead.
Okay.
Go. Put it out
So
there.
so I had an ex one time, and during our relationship, she tells me a friend of mine had inboxed her
Okay.
and was trying to
Hmm.
get with her, and I was like, thanks for telling me that. Now I know how to deal with somebody. It's good
Mm-hmm.
that that individual has been revealed to me, and
Exactly.
I can deal with it as such. But
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, she was talking with her ex. You know what I
Mm.
mean? And with very explicit things.
Mm-hmm.
And her hit that individual's her ex's girlfriend, who was pregnant at the time, contacted me and was like, "Yo, your girl is talking to my man."
Okay.
And so
Wow.
so I addressed the situation. I was like, "Yo,
Wow.
why are you dictating to this individual what he need to do in his relationship with his pregnant girlfriend?" You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? So eventually I had to let the relationship go because how were you honest about a friend of mine contacting you and
Uh-huh.
not honest about the
Conversation.
communication with your ex?
Uh-huh.
So, and it got to the level where I feel like if anything, nothing that I do with an individual will be repeated back to you. That's how I
Mm-hmm.
feel. If if it's acts of God, you can't control uh, a hurricane stopping or accident on the highway or lightning striking. Anything that's outside of our control, I don't
Mm-hmm.
trip off of it. But anything that we have our willful intent to do,
Mm-hmm.
that's where I just like, you know what, you have some things you need to work out because, me as an entertainer, I don't entertain that way.
Right.
I entertain people on the stage, but I
Right.
don't entertain people privately.
Exactly. Exactly. I understand. Yeah, that's kind of like one of them things, huh? She might have.
That's a
Called
little deep
wisdom.
there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Called wisdom,
Right.
Ben.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And I think too, like, I don't know, how long everyone's been married, but well, I know how long Brenda's been married, and myself and Dexter, but not Clarence. But the longer you're married, you do go through different things in relationships or whatever the case may be, and at times, throughout life, people make new friends. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And if you have, like you say, in your business and the things that you do, you meet people all the time. And if
Yeah.
if you're in a relationship with someone, you have some women that are more secure than other women. As not you when you first met her and y'all were together, she was slim, and now she's had those children. She's gained weight. She may be feeling a little, self-conscious or whatever the case may be. And now you're meeting these people, maybe younger or older, because it seems like a lot of times with men, the older they get, the younger they want to look for. As far as women, a lot of times, it seems like that's the thing right now. Like the older they
Wow.
get, the younger they want the woman. I'm like, what is this going on? Is this like a menopause thing? The men go through? Do men go through?
No, no, no. We go through a midlife crisis.
Wow.
So it was said. It was said that
Wow.
we go through midlife crisis.
Well, no, I think it's a combination of midlife crisis and menopause. Y'all just not telling us. Because you know
Hey,
why?
Some things, some
Because,
Oh
things.
God.
They're
It
not
really,
gonna call it menopause.
I
It's
know,
like a
right?
little crisis,
Yeah, that's just for
right?
hey,
women, right? It's not for them, right? Mm-hmm.
Right.
But,
Carolyn,
it's, huh? I'm sorry. Go
you've
ahead.
been knowing me for years,
Uh-huh.
and I'm speaking from this particular man perspective.
yeah.
A
Mm-hmm.
baby can't do anything for me, so I will never have midlife crisis because I've always want someone that's mature, of age,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
and
Mm-hmm.
in my lane.
But you know what?
Right.
You one in a few, because I'm telling you, I be thinking like when men get, I know people who've been married a long time, and you would think at the point where the children go off to college and all this stuff that they would be settling down with their wife and they'll be traveling, but a lot of them are divorced or
Yeah.
divorcing. I've heard a lot
Yeah.
of it, and I was really like, why do you get to that point in life, and why you can't talk about it? You know what I mean? Why can't we sit down and have a conversation and talk about the things that are wrong, and maybe try to push? Why would you want to start over a new relationship as you're an older person?
You know what's crazy about that? A lot of my male friends who are married,
Mm-hmm.
when their children, once their youngest got out the house,
Mm-hmm. They got out.
their their wives, no, their wives
Uh-huh.
told them that they wanted a divorce.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
All my male friends that were that who are divorced now, they didn't want the divorce. Their wives wanted the divorce.
Do you think it's because men stop trying once you're in a relationship for so long, they stop dating?
I think it comes with um a, a misunderstanding of male duties and what that particular thing consists of. Because as a man, you got to take care of the household, rear these children, pay all the bills, supply all the things. If it's a particular male leading household, which those particular gentlemen were,
Mm-hmm.
these wives just didn't want it no more. I think it was. I don't think it's a chauvinistic type of thing. I think that there was not an understanding like this man is doing a lot. You know what I mean? And it's doing so much that he's forgetting about me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, right. Well, that's one of the reasons why I want to kind of have the show about how much of the truth can you really handle, because I do think that that's key in all relationships. You know, you have to be able to talk about deficits. I mean, the longer you're married, you know, there may be certain things that you want different. You may want your wife to dress a little sexier. She may have put on a few pounds, but most of the time men put on a few pounds too. Your belly get big and you're not as trim and fit as you were. You know what I mean? What you shaking your head for, Claire? I can't see you up there too well. What you saying? What you want to say?
I'm 65 years old, and I still look like I guess when I was 20. I'm still the same size.
You are?
Good choices.
Yes,
Good
I am.
choices.
That weight's still the same and all of that stuff?
Yes, it is.
You work out and all that?
No,
It's
He
just
do
natural,
arm
huh?
lifts.
He do arm
I
lifts?
do arm lifts.
You know what? That was one right there,
Next to know
right?
what that is.
That was one of his arm lifts?
Next to know what that is.
Yeah. I think I know too.
Yeah.
But
No, but I'm active. I'm active. I mean, I'm a busybody.
right.
You know, I don't. Saturday morning, I'm waiting on the sun to come in the window. Then I'm outside. You know,
Okay.
and I'm on the go all day. Then for work, I'm on the go.
But I have a question for Carolyn, CJ.
What's your question?
You said why something about men.
It goes both ways.
Why it can't be the woman as well?
It can be. It go.
Okay.
What question? What was this particular question?
When you said when the kids leave, you know, all of a sudden it sounds like you were saying that the man changed or why something changed or something to that effect.
From what I've been seeing, I don't know the statistics or anything, but to me, from just experience, what you said up there, Claire?
Don't believe the stats.
Oh yeah, I don't. They're finagled. I know. From my experience, I see it seems like men get a little more restless. I am a female, you know. But coming from my perspective, it seems like men become a little more restless, whether it's the situation where you have a spouse or a girl. I say spouse in this instance. They may get, you get older, things happen, to your body. It's not the same, as it was back in the day. So you're not able to do sometimes some of the things you used to do. Women you might have breast cancer. You may have, different cancer, just issues in general, hysterectomies, in general, things
just
that go
health
on.
issues.
Right, just things that go wrong. And then some men, they can't handle that. You know what I'm saying? They're not able. You have some men that now my brother-in-law, I feel like my husband would be good with that too, but he's shown my brother-in-law has had that situation where he's had to be there, wholeheartedly, and he's from New Orleans too, and but a lot of men, they'll stay there for a little while, but if that sickness goes on too long, you know what I'm saying, they get a little restless.
I think that's just the type of man, you know what I mean,
Yeah,
which there are many.
There are many.
There are many types out here. And that right there speaks to a particular I don't know, selfishness, but from what I have a lot of male friends also that are in a situation and they're supporting the wife through thick and thin. You know what I mean?
And I see a lot of them that do it, but I'm saying, but sometimes it depends on how extensive that thick is. You know what I'm saying? They'll stay for a period of time, but if this is a situation that they can't perform, it's supposed to be sickness and health. You know what I mean? And if it comes to a situation where that sickness isn't long and they can't perform their wifely duties in certain ways, intimacy and certain things, they get a little restless. What do you think about that, Clarence and Dexter? Y'all two married men on stage.
Hey,
okay.
Go ahead, CJ.
All right. As far as the man sticking around when his wife you know, body's going through some issues and things like that. Well, in my situation, been there, done that. When I was 20 whatever years old, you know, had to deal with that, and that lasted, I don't know, about a year or better. And then we went through it. We made it through. And you know, and it was well, Dexter knows who she is anyway. That's my first wife. Anyway, it how can I say? Anyway, we had a little trying time, you know, with her situation, and
Right.
we came through, and everything's good. You know,
How long did you
sad
stay
thing.
married after then?
I don't know. Maybe about 10 years or something like that.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe about 10 years.
What you
You know,
think,
and
Dexter?
Well, I've already experienced it in this particular marriage that I'm in now.
yeah,
You know, Rosalind, she blew up, and
Don't
she
call
was
no
going
name.
she was going through some stuff. Well, you know, no one actually knows her. And at
but me.
first I said, did I actually marry a nun?
Mm-hmm.
Because her hormones had taken over where she was not intimate or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But we seeked help.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's just as slim and trim and healthy and
Right.
active because we were
Powerful.
going to uh, regular doctors and we went to a natural doctor and she explained everything, put her on a pad, everything's been good.
Okay.
But you still stick in there through thick and thin. That's a real man,
That's
not
the
just a
real
man.
man. You know,
Right.
the men are old school. They're a little built. They are built a little different, but I don't know. Some of them, I don't know. I just been seeing a mixture, and I have seen a lot of experiences. And like Ben said, he's had the reverse happen. A lot of his
Hmm.
friends, you know, the woman won out. You know, and I think too sometimes that happens because I think when you're in a relationship for a long time, you don't communicate. You know, bills take over, life happens, you know what I mean? You have children, you can have children coming into the relationship. You don't spend time getting to know each other. I always would say if you can get married, don't have children right away if you can. Have time to get to know one another first. You know what I'm saying? Spend time having a good
And
time.
sometimes both of them want out for their own personal reasons.
Yeah, that happens
and
too.
and
Yeah.
one is waiting on the other to come
And
forward first.
To get out,
That's
right?
that's so true.
To
right.
get out.
You know,
How difficult do you think it is in a relationship? And that goes for anybody. If you're in a relationship and um, you just have a basic, it is an intimacy issue, and it's not dealing with illness. Thing. It's just like you're not interested like that anymore. Do you think it's how how difficult would it be to have that conversation with the significant other? Or do you think it should be easy enough to sit down and talk about it and implement certain things into the relationship?
That's a absolute good question, Carolyn. Because when it comes to finance and sex, those two things are very important in a relationship and
Those two
sometimes
things,
very difficult to talk about.
they are very
But
difficult.
if you all built that relationship that Ben talked about of honesty, truth, and putting things on the table, you
Mm-hmm.
should be able to go to your spouse. But I'm still saying it's still difficult, but you should be able to
It
talk
have those
about those things.
conversations. What you think, Ben? Since you in a dating situation, if you date, because there are long-term dating situations, you know, not just like you meet somebody in a short period, and you're thinking about crossing, you know, over to the next step. But there are some things you need to talk about.
Yeah, you definitely the dating process is about interviewing. You know what I mean? You
That
want
is
to know
correct.
whys, you know, the whys and wherefores uh, for the results of the patterns of behaviors and the way of thinking behind the individual. So that's the key important before you even get to the bed. I remember somebody told me years ago, he said, here in Atlanta, he's like, you can find a woman just like that, but you're going to but to find a wife is going to take a while.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it speaks of two different mindsets. If
Mhm.
I understand the sexual gratification and all that, but
Mm-hmm.
you have to definitely interview and take time to listen to what people are saying,
Mm-hmm.
and they're honest, or if they're going to be honest at all, or if they're going to tell the truth, because people lie about
All the
different
time.
things.
I
You know what I
always
mean?
say I wouldn't want to
And
be dating now. Ooh.
yeah, yeah. People lie about different things and for different reasons. So
Mm-hmm.
you have the smooth liars, you have the occasional liars, you have the frequent liars,
Mm-hmm.
compulsive liars. So, and it's all done for different reasons, to protect themselves, protect others, to elicit attention. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? To
Right.
avoid punishment. You know what I mean? To get back at somebody. So,
Yeah.
uh, you never know. That's why there's an old saying that says, if you ask enough questions, a liar will change his story.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And but if you ask enough questions to the person telling the truth, they're going to stick to it, no matter how crazy it sounds.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So it's important to have those conversations, because after sex, which is the back door to the subconscious, you're going to
Mm-hmm.
have to deal with the psychosis of the individual in
Mm-hmm.
long term.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I agree with that. Do you think, like, I know a lot of times when people are in relationships for a long period of time, do you think, sometimes you have differences in sex drive? You know what I'm saying? How do you think it's an easy topic to kind of get across to your mate? And do you think it's an easy topic, or do you think you just adjust and you just kind of settle for what the
No,
other
I,
person
I
wants to?
I think there's a conversation. If just
Because
like
there is a
Steve,
difference sometimes.
Yeah, it
just
is.
like just like Ray Charles said, ain't nothing wrong with talking. You know,
Right.
about what you want. You know what I mean? Because
Mm-hmm.
what's crazy about it, when people are horny, we get to say everything that we want. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But when you come to that and have a real conversation about it, then people want to back up about what they want. But you were just open to it just a moment ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah.
What about Dexter and Clarence? What do you guys think about in relationships where one of the people in the relationship, they want to bring in a third person? That happens sometimes too. Some people have open relationships. What do you think about
Well,
that?
but in
Or
my
do you think that's healthy to a relationship?
no, because if I'm not enough, they just tell me I move on.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
Mm-hmm.
that simple. I don't. I mean, I'm just cut and dry. If you want to do that, go ahead, have fun. Without
Mm-hmm.
Totally
me,
agree.
Without you, what do you think,
that's right.
Dexter?
Right.
Oh, same thing. I've had some good friends back home in New Orleans
Mm-hmm.
that were swingers.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Marriage didn't last 2 years.
Mm-hmm. Because you seem to want, you
Be-
get that, then you want more and more. It's never enough, right? Do you think
Then
that's why?
the trust issue. When they leave out the door, where you
Right.
going?
Yeah, where
Mm-hmm.
you
And then
going?
all of a sudden, since you're not doing it with me, that means you're sneaking around or this or that.
Right.
I heard so much stuff until I'm like, yeah, you should have never stuck your
You
finger in
don't,
there in the first place.
right. You don't bring a
Right.
third person into a relationship. But some people, like Monique, she said her and her husband, that's what they do. They're good with that. They like that openness. And sometimes I think that that's a way to say, okay, I know he gonna do it anyway, or she gonna do it
Mm,
anyway. So let's just put it all on tape.
mm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna leave the
Yeah,
door
but just
open.
stay single. Just stay single if you want
I
to do
agree,
all of
Brenda.
that.
I
I
agree.
agree.
What?
Just stay single. Why ruin a relationship? Even if you're dating and you want to go out there and you want to have this person, that person, and the next.
Well,
You can't have it your way,
Well, sometimes people are okay. It work. Everything there's really, in my opinion, there's no cut and dry. Now that doesn't work for me now in my relationship. But I'm just saying, for those that it does work good, it does works well with. To each his own. Who am I to judge? It may be okay for them. It may be because like with Jada and Will, they said they've,
Mm.
a lot of people do. A lot of celebrities do it, I think too. But they all
It's
ask,
just a fad.
they ask you, but no, because I don't know how much of a fad it is because they actually have like camps where people go, and
Oh,
they,
that's all around
yeah,
everywhere.
yeah. So they, I don't know about a fad because some people really like indulging.
Well, I'm like Brenda.
Yeah, there's
Then
some
they
people
should
out there.
stay single
Mhm.
and enjoy that life.
They should.
That's
Well,
it.
They
it's
should.
just too much going around in a circle now. It's
Mm-hmm.
just too
Exactly.
much. You talking about health issues, you talking about your mental state of mind,
If you're not that
you
type
don't
of
even,
person, though, if you're not
right.
the kind of person
I
that's
may not
into it,
be, but that next person might,
right? So somebody else may not see it that way. It may be good for them because they like variety. They like this main person, but they might like the variety. So they get somebody that work well with that, then it works for them. It don't work for me in my house, but it may work good for them. I don't judge that because it's just not for me. But doesn't mean it's not for everybody. Cause they do, like I
That's
say,
right.
have camps where and they have beaches where people walk around nude. And they don't some of them
Yeah.
don't need to be nude. They need to be fully clothed.
Right there in Slidell.
Huh?
I was trying to that Dexter. One of those places right in Slidell.
Yeah.
Well, I can think of one when I was single and dating when I was in Atlanta,
Mm-hmm.
and I met this young lady in the complex at the, throwing the trash out conversation. Next thing I know, they were trying to invite me to one of those, and I was like,
They say he looked like Kareem
Really?
Abdul-Jabbar. We want him coming over.
Yeah, and that's when everything went sour. So yes,
Crazy.
it is out there.
So they weren't
Yeah.
trying to. Yeah, I don't agree with it. I mean, I don't think it's definitely not nothing for me. But some people it works well and they have successful relationships. And some people they try it and it like you say, Dexter, it ends up causing a big, you know, demise of their relationship. But I do say to each his own. I'm kind of open minded because what works for some don't work for everybody.
Yeah.
That's true.
It doesn't work for me. So, I wanted to just kind of talk about it because I know a lot of times in relationships, I feel like communication is a big thing. And I wanted to get the opinions of some people who have lived and had different circumstances to happen and to find out how much do you think being too honest can be a detriment if as well. Is there such thing as too much honesty?
I don't think there is. I think it's some people don't have uh, the skin to tell the truth because you can be
I agree.
what's phenomenal about relationships is there are different types of relationships out there. And like say for instance, two banks can go into a merger together and they have mutual interest, mutual respect. And when something goes wrong, they address it and they continue making money together. You know what I mean? No, neither bank is going to be like, I can't do this with
Right.
y'all. I'm out of there. No, they don't. They address it and then they continue on, and they've been together for years. You know what I mean? And there's many banks that we know, and many businesses that we know that have came together and are still in business ventures with each other for the past 40, 50 years. If we had that particular mindset where we had interests and values and respect together, uh, I think it'll help in that regard because most people don't have the skin for honesty, and it's not your fault that you're
Right.
being honest and truthful to them because you can be truthful to a lot of other people, and they'll have it.
They take it
They're,
just
they're
fine.
yeah, they receive it as constructive criticism while this one person feels offended. And you said it to them for them to grow.
Because some people are not tactful in how they say things.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
you could say the same thing
Yeah.
and you can say it differently, and it has the same impact. Like if I'm
yeah.
screaming, and if you're a screamer and you're talking loud and being obnoxious, I'm shutting down. I don't want to
Yeah,
hear
I
that.
get it.
I don't want to hear that. You could be telling me some good stuff. You know what I mean? Don't walk across that street because you might get hit by the car. And so I'm like, man, you getting on my nerve. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even want to hear
Yeah.
what you got to say. But you say, oh, baby, be careful. You know what I mean? So I just think, too,
Yeah.
you got to be careful how you say
Yeah.
things. You can
There's
say,
that.
that's a
There's
key.
definitely ways to
Yes.
communicate, how to
Yeah.
communicate,
Right.
where to communicate too.
Where
You know
is
what I mean?
important. Yeah.
And the timing of
Right.
communication.
That's
So
How the
important.
message come across.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, how the message come across because what's important is, and the key thing to have it at the forefront of your mind when communicating is, I really want this individual to understand.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
Right. So I agree with that. Well,
Now,
I don't know. Go ahead, Dix.
we all know that the longer you're in a relationship
Mm-hmm.
or in a marriage,
Mm-hmm.
you pretty much know that person that you're in that relationship with.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
And you all have compromised in certain areas
Mm-hmm.
whereby it's like, okay, that works on my nerves, but it's not
Mm-hmm.
something to
A deal breaker.
derail. It's not a deal breaker. That's correct.
Mm-hmm.
So when
Excuse
you
me,
all
but I'll
speak
be
of
right back.
communication, and we were talking about finance or we were talking about sex,
Mm-hmm.
we said, oh my goodness, if I start talking about that, knowing this person, it's
Mm-hmm.
going to be an argument.
Mm-hmm.
So what does a person do? They refrain or they withdraw from having that conversation.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what makes it difficult to get past
Mm-hmm.
those
Mm-hmm.
communication barriers.
I agree.
yeah,
So, in long and short of the conversation, it's always good, as we always thought, it's good to communicate, keeping on, being honest, but just be careful how you say it, and the
Yes.
time and the place where you say it.
yeah.
Right?
And
All
then,
right.
and,
Go ahead.
okay, go
No,
ahead.
no, no. I
No,
was
I was
saying
just
all
saying,
right.
I was just saying, some people some people have been living in a self-deception for so long where they
Mhm.
need some bold and hard truths. Not
Mm-hmm.
saying it's for everybody,
Mm-hmm.
but some people are deceived about themselves where they need somebody to
Keep it
help them
100.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep it
And
100.
they just need a reality check.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Mhm.
they
Yeah.
do.
That's all it is. You know,
Mm-hmm. Right.
you can't keep going around and around and around. Just check yourself sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because sometimes you're trying to be honest with everyone else and you need to be, like you say,
Yeah.
check yourself, Brenda. Check yourself. Well, look, I enjoyed this conversation that we had tonight. I really, truly appreciate everyone being a part of it. I want everyone to kind of give us some wind up at the end. Let me know, give us some words for to leave everyone with. What do you say, Dexter? What about communication, and how much of it is it a limit to how much you should say? Let's wind it
Well,
up.
the way we started out this conversation, truth.
Mm-hmm.
If you communicate in truth, then you should have no problems talking about anything
Mm-hmm. I agree. I
at
agree.
any time.
At any time.
At any time.
All right. All right. All right, Clarence. What do you say? What would you like to leave everyone with?
Well, I guess
Hold on, before you answer, CJ, it was
yeah.
something you told me yesterday that was so profound until I had to laugh, and you need to leave everyone with it. What was that about a lie, the truth and a
Oh,
lie?
a true lie and a damn lie.
That
Yes.
was it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I'm
That's
glad you said that because I was trying to find it.
hmm
My little cousin had something on Facebook, and I actually took a snap of it. It was very good for this show. He said, "I'd rather you hurt me with the truth than to comfort me with the lie."
Mm,
That's pretty
love
good.
it.
That's pretty good,
Yeah.
right?
Love it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. What do you got to say, Ben?
Well, the truth shall set you free.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm gonna say. We can, if you want to, like I said in the beginning, if we
dig,
want to
dig, dig
experience
deep in your
the
pocket.
best, if we want to experience the best potency of freedom, we have to dare to tell the truth. You know what I mean, and be truthful about every facet in our life. You know what I mean. That objective truth and subjective truth that are continuous battles between the male and female relationship dynamic. If we can just grab the horns on that and try to wrestle that until it's really really understood on both ends, we could really try to repair a lot of things that are taking place and have taken place in the male and female relationship dynamic. Because how can we respect someone who does not respect themselves? You know what I mean? Or does not have the willpower to respect themselves. You know, they go out into the world and are scared to be themselves. You know what I mean? I have 6 sisters, and they're different in many ways. And but before they go out the house, no matter where they go, before they go out the house and before they get out of their car, they look at themselves in the mirror before they do. So it just says that some of them, what I'm trying to say is we never know, we don't even know how we look surprised. When we look in the mirror, we have one face. We don't know how we look when we're scared, surprised, frightened. We only know how we look when we're composed. And that furthers the deception that we are in this world. So we have to be ourselves in every aspect of this world and live from the inside out. That's what I want to say. Live from the inside out.
There you go. That's good information. All right, Brenda, what do you say? What would you like to leave everyone with?
Well, just one thing. Just be real in the way you deliver the message. You know,
Amen.
and if you can just sit down and talk about it, or it might not be that day, it might be the next day, or where you are, in life, just be real on how you deliver the message, because it can come out a little funky and then everything blows up. Or you can come out being passionate about it and understanding about it, and you may can get some good results behind it.
Right.
Well, Ben, I want to leave with this here. If you were going through a divorce, will you tell where all the hidden bank accounts are?
Hell no.
Because we talked about truth. You said we're supposed to be truthful at all times. You're getting ready to go through a divorce. Is it time to be truthful?
No.
Is that
I said hell no.
was that question for me?
It's for you, Ben. It was for you.
Okay, well.
Sorry,
check
I
it out.
answered it, but go ahead, Ben. It was for you.
Check it out. I went through a divorce, an ugly divorce, and had no clue that the individual was winning a lawsuit against her job, and we had so many properties together. And this was the most calculative and manipulative and deceptive divorce that I've experienced. And this is my only divorce, but I later found out there was so much money
What?
while I
So
was
you
working.
saying that sometimes it's not good to tell the truth.
Yeah, you're right.
Sometimes just keep your mouth shut.
Yes. There you go.
All right.
There you
I
go.
got you.
Keep it. Well, I want to thank everyone for being here. I'm going to end it with this again. I want to say, I'd rather you hurt me with the truth than to comfort me with a lie. So I just want to say thank you all for being here. We had a really good conversation and I enjoyed it. And next week, I think Ben is going to be a part of my platform again. And I have some other guests that are going to be on there. We're going to we're going to move away from the relationship series next week. And we're going to be talking about rap and hip hop. and we're going to talk about the dynamics of why we're losing so many of our young men in these streets, and what can we do about it. What would be some good things to put in place to try to help curb this? So that's what our show is going to be about next week. So I look forward to everyone tuning in. It will be at 9 o'clock as well. And again, thank you all, everyone that was here tonight. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Absolutely.
All right, love
God
you.
bless.
Absolutely.
Same to you.
All
God
right.
bless.
Goodbye.
All right.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.